This is a 15-second driver tip and it is an eye-opener. It will shock you. You can continuously use it. It's going to help you hit the golf ball straighter, hit more fairways. What more do we want? And all you're going to need is one of these and a Sharpie. Let's get into it. You've probably seen these before, and if you haven't, well, get them on Amazon, they're cheap or anywhere. We're going to use it slightly differently than what you've seen before, and this is why we're going to get some fab results. Okay, so all you're going to do is mark your golf ball up like this, and it takes 15 seconds. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, line. Right, so the golf ball will look like this here on the side of the screen when it's done. So once you marked it up, this is vital. It's going to help you aim, it's going to help you get a square club face. What more do we want with how we're lining up the golf ball? Well, to answer your question, there's nothing else. Now it's time to tee this baby up. Okay, now 17th here, and this probably is the same at your golf course. There's a hole where there's such a price on hitting the fairway because it's so narrow. Right, so if you can see on the side of the screen here a close-up of my golf ball. I've got the main longer lines aiming straight down towards target, and I would just simply check them by sort of standing behind and closing one of my eyes and feeling like I'm working this up and down and just making sure it's aiming correctly. The two shorter lines on that golf ball then become the lines that I try and get the top edge of my driver to sort of sit parallel to. I've seen this, right? And I'm guilty of, you don't notice it until you do this. Because if your golf ball's just sort of blank, let's say blank on top, you may have a tendency of having your club face a little bit open at address, a little bit closed at address. And then you can imagine what you have to do differently in the golf swing to then get it pointing square. So word of caution on this, if it feels odd to you when you're looking at target, but the lines on the ball and the top edge of your driver are parallel, then don't worry. It means you've had a bad tendency before, and this is sorting you out. So on the golf course, this is the exact routine I would use. So you know what lines you're using now. The long lines are your target line, okay? The short lines are to make sure, and you saw that on the close-up, that they run parallel to that top edge. So, nice and simple, out on the golf course. And just a little bit of a tip. Maybe before a round, just mark 2 or 3 golf balls up, just like this. Don't have to be new balls, they could be old balls, just mark them up. So if you do lose a ball, hopefully you won't, you have got 1 to fall back on, or 2 to fall back on. This is so crucial. I thought we'd dive into this a little bit more. Top edge of your golf club, short lines in the golf ball, make sure these run parallel. That way you can see if your club face is a little bit open or a little bit closed at address, reducing the likelihood of that club face pointing square at impact. The long line on your golf ball, this is essential. This is how you align correctly to target. So create a ball to target line with this long line and build the rest of your stance around it. Let's head back out on the golf course and show you how. So out on the course, we're going to tee one up, point it down, get your long lines, aim them straight towards where you think target is. Now just check it. All right, well actually, that ball's aiming a little bit right. Adjust, that's spot on. Up, down, club down now, top line of the golf club and the lines of the golf ball running parallel. Build your stance, making sure we're aiming with the lines and the long lines. Simple. We are now aimed correctly with a square club face, good stance. We're not second guessing ourselves. 15 seconds of line up your ball, so worth it. Let's now hit one away. We've got good alignment. We can fully trust exactly where we're aiming. That way, we're not second guessing ourselves. We know our club face is square. We know our body's parallel to target. This way, we're guaranteed to hit some better golf shots. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to joining you tomorrow at the same time. Cheers.